Hey guys, LevelCap here, and this week in gaming we may have gotten our first clues about the setting for Battlefield 6. Leaks suggest AMD will stay on top of the CPU market in 2021, Valve canceled their spring major, and much more. Battlefield 5 players have spent the past 2 weeks grinding through a new Easter egg added in the Community Games update. The challenge has players run through a cornucopia of puzzles while building a staircase literally to heaven. Upon successfully reaching the top, a remix of Battlefield 4's theme plays, and the participating players are rewarded with the Eidolon outfit. Where things get a bit more interesting is the Roman numerals found on the metal on the belt of the Eidolon outfit. When converted to coordinates, the numbers point to a location in Kazakhstan. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat heavily featured Kazakhstan is a critical location to the game's campaign. And while this whole Easter egg and Eidolon skin might just be some veteran developers nodding at their past work, I think it could very well be an indication of where the franchise is headed. Battlefield 6 is due out next year and is likely set in a modern era. Exact details are obviously under wraps, but there have been plenty of hints at future Battlefield games in the ones that preceded them. The White Horse painting in Battlefield 1, for example, was a hint about Battlefield 5's infamous reveal trailer. I think it would make sense for DICE to revisit some familiar locations with the next Battlefield game. They do it with multiplayer maps all the time. Heck, Battlefield 4 has a whole DLC that's just Battlefield 3 maps. So maybe we'll see some Battlefield 2 maps in next year's game. It has so many of the franchise's most iconic maps like Strike at Karkand, Gulf of Oman, and Sharkey Peninsula. Everyone seems hungry for a modern military Battlefield game. While this whole Easter egg thing could just be the devs having fun, I don't think they'd spend all the time and resources on something complicated if it weren't important. Easter eggs have been an essential part of Battlefield's modern identity as a franchise. Considering this is probably the most comprehensive and interactive Easter egg DICE have ever done, I'd wager it's much more than just a fun distraction. In other Battlefield related news, the Arecibo Observatory telescope finally collapsed after cables supporting it gave out. The telescope has appeared in many TV shows, movies, and games, including Battlefield 4 on the Rogue Transmission multiplayer map. The collapse was captured on video by the crews at the observatory, and it's shockingly similar to how the version in Battlefield 4 collapses. The parallels get even weirder considering Battlefield 4 is also set in 2020. Intel, AMD, and Nvidia have been trading blows all year with their new product launches. In many cases, AMD have surprisingly come out on top, and it seems like they're going to stay on top when it comes to CPUs for at least a little while longer. Intel's latest generation of CPUs, Rocket Lake, are still 11% slower than AMD's latest Ryzen processors. Now, these numbers come from leaked benchmarks on the Ashes of Singularity database, but it's still a strong indication that Intel is still lagging behind AMD. And rumors that Intel is lagging behind AMD have been circulating for months. Many of Intel's more recent CPUs have been minor revisions to existing hardware that improves performance at the cost of higher temperatures and power needs. Assuming that Rocket Lake is actually behind the curve, AMD could hold the top spot for both gaming and productivity workloads well into 2021. That said, it's obvious these leaks are limited in terms of real-world info, and Intel could have other CPUs on the way that are more performant. Valve's spring major for the 2021 Counter-Strike season has been cancelled. They previously scrapped 2 majors this year because of the pandemic. They're now planning to host an EU major in fall of 2021. They already have a venue and partner secured to host the event and expect it to take place from October 25th to November 7th. As you can imagine, pretty much every major gaming event has either been cancelled or moved to an online-only presentation this year. Hopefully we get things under control for all our sakes in the new year and can get back to living somewhat normal lives. As for CSGO itself, Valve just launched a new operation with 7 maps, a new game mode, a proper ping system, and much more. It's called Broken Fang, and one of the maps is a diffuse map called Ancient that was developed by Valve. The other maps are all community made and have appeared in various map competitions this year. In general, it's a pretty strong operation with plenty of new cosmetics to unlock. Red Dead Online players have been less than pleased with the game's most recent update. The Bounty Hunter update launched the online component of Red Dead 2 as a standalone experience. It also adds a new Bounty Hunter role, some new missions, and more. The problem is, the Bounty Hunter Pass is more stingy than previous passes. These are essentially battle passes, and they typically gave out 40 gold bars to players who completed them, but the Bounty Hunter Pass only gives out 30 unless you bought it the first week it launched. That nets you an extra 10 gold bars. Some players say Rockstar is trying to cash in on the hype surrounding the standalone launch by tricking new players who don't know any better into paying extra. Overall, it seems like the Bounty Hunter update is just being more stingy with its rewards, as even daily challenges are giving out less gold than before. If Rockstar expects Red Dead Online to thrive, they're going to have to do better than upsetting players that have stuck it out with the game since launch. Watch Dogs Legion had a rough launch plagued with bugs, crashes, corrupt saves, and more, but the most recent update has nailed down some of the more egregious issues. Title Update 2.3.0 fixes a bunch of PC-specific problems including crashes, while also removing an infinite cache exploit. Ubisoft recently delayed the launch of Legion's multiplayer update to later this month so they could sort these issues out. Based on the patch notes, at least on PC, it seems like they're making good progress. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Season 1 has been delayed by 1 week. It was originally launching on the 10th, but has been moved to the 16th, presumably to make room for Cyberpunk 2077's impending launch. The update will add new maps to Cold War's core multiplayer modes. In addition to updating Warzone with Cold War's weapons and operators, map updates for the Battle Royale are also in the works, with one leaked example being Rebirth Island, a location from the original Black Ops. To make up for the delay, Treyarch are activating double XP from the 12th to the 16th and giving away 2 free bundles as login rewards. World of Tanks is getting its annual Christmas update on the 9th, and this year it's taking things back to more classic memes. Chuck Norris will be added to the game as an NPC in a mountain town social space that players can decorate. Norris will also give out daily missions that, when completed, will unlock him as a commander. The whole update is a funny nod to the iconic former karate and action movie star. In our final story this week, Doug Cockle won't have a cameo in Cyberpunk 2077. Cockle is the voice actor for Geralt from the Witcher franchise. His iconic stoic delivery of Geralt's dialogue is so synonymous with the franchise that Henry Cavill used it as inspiration for Geralt's portrayal in the Netflix adaptation of the novels. Cockle says that despite some early talks to bring him on board as an actor or in a cameo in Cyberpunk, the developers haven't approached him in any serious capacity. Hopefully he'll get some time in the spotlight in a future update. Cyberpunk's marketing has generally steered clear of referencing other franchises by the devs, but the game will include some big nods to The Witcher, like a jacket with Geralt's wolf emblem on it. And that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. Obviously, Cyberpunk is launching next week, which is going to be the talk of the town, the biggest launch event maybe ever. It's pretty exciting. I'm going to be playing it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are going to be playing and what story you thought was the most interesting this week. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.